Today's program is one of strength, courage, and hope. As we continue to observe Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we are reminded that early detection saves lives and that behind every pink ribbon is a story of survival and resilience. Joining us this week on Sources are two remarkable women, Shirley Rambarran and Rosaline Clarke, both survivors of breast cancer and living testaments to the power of faith, determination, and the importance of regular screening. Today, they share their stories that inspire us all to stay aware, to get tested, and to never lose hope. Welcome to Sources. I'm your host, Svetlana Marshall. On today's program, we'll continue to focus on breast cancer with the hope of bringing greater awareness to our friends and families and those who are listening to this program across the world, not just here in Guyana. And today we'll focus on breast cancer survivors. With me, I have two survivors, Rosaline Clarke and Shirley Rambarran. Welcome to Sources.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Clarke, I'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and then I'll go to Ms. Rambarran.
Well, my name is Rosaline Clarke. I'm a mother of 3 and 6 grandchildren. I am 67 years old, and I'm a breast cancer survivor for the past 9 years now.
9 years. Congratulations. And you know, I'm happy to have you here to share your story and to encourage women and men, because men too suffer from breast cancer, though a small amount. Let's hear from you, Ms. Rambarran.
Well, my name is Shirley Rambarran. I'm a mother of 4, 1 deceased, and I'm been diagnosed with breast cancer for the past 4 years. And I'm here today just to share my thoughts with others so that they too can check for themselves.
You're in remission, I'm told.
Yes, I'm in remission.
And so we'll also be happy to hear from you. And once again, I want to thank you for being brave enough to share your story so that it could inspire other people who may also be battling with breast cancer, or they know somebody who has breast cancer or cancer in a whole, and just need a word of encouragement and that support, and to understand better the treatment and the care that is required. Ms. Clarke, you have a family history of cancer, is that so?
Yes.
Tell me a bit about it.
Well, I come from a family of 9 brothers and sisters, and 8 diagnosed with cancer. My smaller sister, she had heart problems that my mom and dad had. Out of the 8 that had cancer, 2 died, my brother and my sister, and the 6 remaining, the 3 girls and 3 boys. The boys are prostate, and the girls, my elder sister's cervical cancer and breast cancer. Myself and sister, breast cancer. But of recent, like last year, October, I started spotting. I went to the hospital, I got it checked out, up and down, back and forth hospital. And in this year, August, I had a biopsy done. The first was inconclusive, the second was inconclusive, and the doctor decided now they'll put me in hospital, do a DNC to check. When I came out, I remember in the ward, the doctor told me, oh, they get a sample, but the next time I come in hospital is to take out my womb. I was wondering, why take out my womb? What is wrong? So when I went to clinic the following week, and I had a report is that they took a sample from the cervix, and there they see a lot of lesions that lead to cancer. So they decided we were going to do a hysterectomy, and that surgery is scheduled for next Thursday at Georgian Public Hospital.
Okay. All right. We'll keep check with you, and we wish you well, and we'll talk definitely about 9 years, which is a good thing. You fought it, you won, but we will also talk about the treatment and the support you receive and how you detected cancer in the first place. But let's hear from Ms. Rambarran. You also have a bit of history of cancer as well, and how did you realize that, I need to get screened?
Well, my mom died from cervical cancer. My son died from leukemia. He had the aggressive kind of leukemia. So the doctors had warned me to do pap smears on a regular basis, which I usually did after my mom died, but they never found anything. And one day I found a lump in my right side breast. I'm in the clinic, the medical clinic. So I told the doctor there when I went to clinic, and she took me right away to do a mammogram. From there, she took me to surgical clinic, where the doctor requested I do a biopsy. I did, and the results came back. But when the results came, it was in stage 1, from DC2 to stage 1. But within 3 weeks, it reached to stage 3. And that's when they had to put me to do surgery.
So within 3 weeks?
Within 3 weeks, yes.
It progressed quickly there?
Yes, like apparently it was the aggressive kind. So they scheduled me for surgery, and I did that. But coming from a background of cancer patients, the family, I had to be very careful. In addition to that, I'm a diabetic patient as well. So I had to be careful as to what I was doing, my diet and stuff like that as well.
So once you felt the lump, you immediately sought medical care.
Medical care.
Was it as a result of your interaction with the healthcare facilities? You said you were you were visiting the hospital.
Yeah, I'm in medical clinic. That is because of the diabetes. And when I found the lump, I showed the doctor. She said, I showed her, so I showed her, and she felt it. So she got up right away, and she took me to the mammogram center to do the mammogram.
And within 3 weeks it progressed?
Within 3 weeks it progressed from 1 stage to 3. Wow. So right away the doctor had to schedule me for surgery, and I did it.
Ms. Clarke, take me back to the time 9 years ago when you realized that something is definitely not right and you need to get screened.
Okay, well, it was in August of 2016. I traveled abroad to my sister in the USA, not knowing that she had a surgery about 3 weeks prior to my coming up there. She didn't say anything because my sister died before with cancer. They didn't say anything in a long time, like it was a stigma. So there's something to hide. So I didn't have the option to say, well, look, as this happened to her, let me go and check. It's when I went up to the States, traveling with heavy suitcase. About my 2nd week into the vacation, I felt a sharp stinging pain on my arm. And when I checked, I felt this lump. Well, people say when somebody uses deodorant, you will get a lump on the arm, or maybe contribute to the pulling of this heavy suitcase. So I went to my sister and I said, I have a lump on my arm. But before that, when she greeted me after we haven't seen, it's like for about 30 years. I was at the bathroom bathing, and she came from work. She wanted to see me. So when I stepped in the hug, she said, just pull back. So I said, what happened? And then she told me she had, about 3 weeks ago, she did a lumpectomy. She didn't take off her breast. She took out the lump. And she had cancer. So they didn't want to know that she too had this cancer and was hiding it from everybody else. But coming back to when I discovered it, after I told her, she said, "What here going to happen? When you get back home to Guyana, go and take a check. And if it's cancer, up to take off your breast. Don't do like me. I up to take out the lump, and she had to go through radiation and chemotherapy. I know the sickness, they fall out. She said, you go and check, and once it's early, you just take off your breast entirely." So I said yes. But I wasn't
Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. When you're a child of God, you depend on Him, right? Because He said He didn't bring you this far to leave you, and all things are possible with God. I wasn't scared. When I got back home in September, I went to the GRPA. There I got the doctor examined me, they find the lump, and they sent me to Mercy Hospital to do the mammogram thing. And in the mammogram, it showed a mass on the left side breast, which was cancer. I walked down the road. I'm saying, cancer? In my breast, I have cancer. So I went home. I told my husband, that they find out this thing. But then I said, look, I wanted a second opinion. I went to Medical Arts Center, and the doctor said yes, and I did a lumpectomy to do the biopsy, where they take out the lump and get it test. But it was an agonizing 6 weeks of waiting to know whether it's true or anything.
not.
You mean, I'm human. Without a Christian, you're human. So I really study a little part, because when people think of cancer, people think death.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's not a
But
death
it's
sentence.
not a death sentence, right? Because I know people live with cancer stage 4 till now, right? So after I wait for the 6 weeks, when I got a call from the hospital, well, the results is out. It was after 1 in the afternoon. I got dressed and I went down there without telling my husband. I want to do it on my own. And I got there and the doctor said, well, look, the results is out, but who are with you? I said, doctor, well, look, I walk with God. He said, no, I know you walk with God here, but we need somebody to explain the situation. I went back home, and myself and my husband went back, and then they explained, well, look, this is cancerous, you have cancer in the right side breast. And right away, they said, well, look, it can be 350,000 to take off the breast.
350.
50,000 at that time to take off the breast. I said, doctor, I don't do things like that. I need a second opinion. I need to go elsewhere. And I went the next day to Georgian Hospital, the oncology department. They gave me a letter and I went over there and I saw the doctor, Dr. Godin and Dr. Husu. And the same test ran back and everything, and it was confirmed. Well, then yes, 3 confirmation is positive, right? So the doctor put my husband to sit down and he explained, he said, we changed before. Your wife or one-side breast or thing. He said, well, look, I'm going to take the one-side breast. I said, it's my decision on what y'all could do. If you could take the breast off right now, I have no fear. So, they make the arrangement, but that was in the November, early November, after all the different runnings, it came up to November now. And they gave me a date till January. So I was going to really saying, because I would walk in parades, because I know my sister had cancer. So I'd walk in parades, early detection saves lives.
Yeah.
So I said, they say early detection saves lives, so why wait till January? Anyhow, I went home and I prayed. I prayed and asked God, I said, God, you come through for me. Because I'm a Sunday school teacher. The time I used to work at the daycare, the church, and I love children, right? And these children, when you see the love from these children, you want to live forever, never just to be with these kids. So I prayed and I prayed. And it was the next morning I got a call.
They were ready for
Could you come for surgery on Monday? I said, thank you, Jesus. It was November, the 21st of November. It was 4 days before my birthday. And I went to the hospital. And I did the surgery on the 23rd of November. Everything went well for me. I didn't feel, when I wake up, I didn't feel no pain. I know my breast was off. Because, as a woman, you have 2 breasts.
Yeah.
And, you tend to, the first thing, like if you're in a room, you just come to the bathroom and you're in a room.
You look at yourself.
And someone, walk in, the first thing you do is, you don't hold there. The first thing you do is this, right? So you conscious now of this one-side breast now, you're feeling aware. And I came home, I was discharged when I went home. I have my daughter. She lives in Linden with her daughter. At the time, her daughter was just 3 years old, right? And when she come down on the weekend, she come and check on me. Just like come out the bathroom. That little child, she was my biggest supporter. And now I can know, who is it? It's me, Granny. Mariah? Her name is Mariah. What you want? Granny come to help you powder your back. Granny come to help you put on your brassiere. So, she was like that and give you that, encouragement, because when you see you have cancer, you don't want to take it on. You feel, oh God, you're going to pass. But when you got a love and support of friends, neighbors, and like the community, you got a far way to go. And my big support was my 3-year-old granddaughter, my pastor, my church members, my children. I would say not so much, honestly, my husband. He passed recently, my husband. Because, men, he just, all right. Nothing happened to she all right. But they don't know what you're going through, right? So after then I was going through that thing. And in my first year, that 2016, before I even reached a year, my mom passed.
Sorry.
I went up to the States, went to my mom's funeral, spent over the December, came back January. I came the Friday, Sunday, my husband took in. And he passed 4 months after then.
Wow.
And then our aunt passed 3 months after. So in that,
it was a tough period for you.
It was a tough period within the 2 years. Me taking care of him because he got bedridden and everything. It was very tough on me.
And you had to still
and
take
I had
care
to
of
still
yourself.
take care of him, take care of myself.
You're
right?
definitely a strong woman.
So with the strength of God, because He's the help of my source and everything. My strength comes from God.
Amen.
And then, you know, I got the children one side, my grandchildren. And after I recovered, I was able to go back to work. It used to be a nice feeling when you get there, because in the daycare, your road shoes would be in a corner, on your shoes, your work, everything. And since those little children see you coming in, they'd run to the corner, get your shoe, and give it to you. And you know that nice feeling, say, well, look, God, I want to live for these children. Help me, you know. You promised me that you'll be there for me. So, you know, with the help of Him and the children and everything, I was able to get through that.
I'm glad.
And whilst there, you know, I opt not to take the chemotherapy.
Wait, let me interject right there. I want, before we get to that part where you opted not to do chemo, I want to hear from Miss Rambarran as to her experience. Once, you know, you said it was, by the time it progressed really quickly to stage 3. Tell us about your experience.
Well, after the surgery was scheduled, it was scheduled for the 14th of January 2002, because it was 2021, November, they had the results out, and they had scheduled me for the 14th of January to do the surgery. However, I had to go back to the clinic. She told me to bring my family to have the discussions about what will take place and what care and stuff I would need. My husband and my son went along with me. While we were there, and she explained it to them, the doctor, she told them that she wants to bring forward the surgery to January 7th. So I was like, oh boy, this is quick, because I wasn't prepared like to go right away into surgery so fast. I was saying, okay, I still have time till the 14th. But then she asked me from there. She said, no, let's go ahead with it. As you already scheduled for the 7th, let me go ahead with it. So we did that. I went in hospital. I took my surgery, which, like Rosaline said, you came out feeling good. You feel no pain, anything. Everything went smooth. However, because of being the diabetic, I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital as soon as my surgery was finished. I was like in there for a week. They were keep monitoring me with the diabetes. So after they found everything was okay, they sent me home with the promise to return every week to clinic. So I had to go to clinic, and when the procedure was finished of the drainage and all of that, the doctor explained to me I will have to do chemo. So they gave me a letter to come over to the oncology department. I did that. The doctor says 8 sessions. I said, okay. They started me like the next week. They started me with the chemo, and that wasn't a nice experience. I know some people could withstand it because of their physical nature, but for some, like me, I wasn't that strong. But
So you had to do 8 sessions.
8 sessions. So
How do you prepare your body for that?
well, basically it's your mind, because they said you must eat and drink, and they also said use a lot of coconut water and stuff like that. So I did started that after I went home. I did started using the beets and the coconut water and fruits, a lot of fruits and so on, which of course helped to monitor the blood sugar. So when I went back to the oncology center to start the first session, I took it good, it went on good. So, and I left, I wasn't feeling any side effects. I went home. I went home and I sat in the hammock, and I was playing with my hair. And I felt like something in my hand. So when I pulled, the hair started falling out. On the first session of my chemo, all my hair came off.
Wow.
I just go over the sink and I keep rubbing so and all came off. So I was bald completely. So, but it didn't stop me. I went ahead and I continued. But in the nights when the effects start taking over the body is then when you start feeling nauseous. I didn't throw up, but I used to feel nauseous. I used to feel like I want to sleep, but I can't sleep. It's my fingers and my toes, like something walking all over your body. And I just had a general painful night, so to speak. It was pain, like if I turn on my side, I'm feeling pain. I turn on this side, I'm feeling pain. You know? So I withstand that. I had no appetite. I didn't want anything to eat or drink because of, I said again, it was a side effect of the chemo. And I had 7 more sessions to do.
7 more.
So I had to put up with that. But as Rosaline said, I prayed a lot and I asked God to give me the strength to continue, not to give up, because I knew that this meant making me live a little bit more longer at least for my grandchildren. But hopefully I successfully came through safely with that. And then they told me I had to go and do radiation, 30 sessions of radiations.
So in addition to the chemotherapy, you then had to do the radiation.
Yes.
So the chemotherapy was for a period of 8 weeks?
8 weeks is like every 3 weeks.
Or every 3 weeks
Every
you had
3
to do
weeks I had to do it. And every 3 weeks I would have to take a blood test to see if my blood count was sufficient for me, because your blood count has to be to a certain level before you take chemo. And your diabetes, all your symptoms and so has to be on a normal level before you take it. So they don't give you if it's high and stuff. They would give you medication to use and then infuse you with the chemo. But it was good. After a while, I got accustomed to it. I started to feel better after I finished. Then I started radiation, 30 sessions. I had no side effects with radiation. I went smoothly. However, coming back to the finances of that.
We'll definitely get to that.
Okay.
I will definitely talk to that because oftentimes we talk about treatment and we don't talk about the cost attached to this treatment. And so sometimes that may be a factor why people stay away. But once they know of the resources and the facilities available, I'm sure they could get the help they need. Miss Clarke, you opted not to do chemotherapy. Why?
Yes, well, remember I told my sister she did it, and chemo is a kind of a poison they put into your system. And I see her tongue was black, her fingernails black. I know she can't feel to open. It was the kind of feel on the head, your hair fall out, she get bald, and the sickness. So she said, girl, don't do that. Do something else. Take the breast off already. So when I went back to clinic after to get it checked and said, when back to clinic, doctor decided no. I said, the doctor, they said, well, they have the tablet form and you have to drink this tablet, letrozole, for 7 years, and a tablet every day. At the time, Georgetown Public Hospital didn't have the tablet. You had to buy it for $3,600 upon month supply. And something was hard to source, something you call this drugstore, they don't have it. Something you gotta find it at Essential Care, something you find it at another little drugstore. It was very difficult to find, and then it cost you too. But then after a while, Georgetown Public Hospital got it, and we started getting it free. So you continue to drink, and that's what kept me for the 7 years. In the meantime, you was drinking your soursop, and you eat healthy food, you change your lifestyle. You use your almond milk, no sugar, no beef, and these things. You just live a healthy lifestyle along with exercise, a lot of exercise, because that helps you a lot. Keep your body healthy, change your lifestyle of living, and you're going to live a longer life. So that was me.
So were there any side effects with taking the tablet? That we heard from Miss Rambarran, she had some bitter side effects, but she said it got better with time.
Yes, the side effects I had it with this kind of nausea sensation. So the doctor said, instead of use it in the daytime, use it in the night. So when you're sleeping now, at least that would pass, because during the day you got this nausea, a kind of a bad sensation. So when I explained to the doctor, he said, okay, we'll use the tablet in the night when you're asleep. You won't feel it like how you would feel it move around in the day, weakening your body. So it was a little, but not as I hear with this chemo thing.
Okay.
There were some nausea feelings and a little side effects.
Okay. Miss Rambarran raised an important part, the cost factor with acquiring the treatment. You had to do both chemo and radiation. You had to get towed from the hospital. What was the cost like?
Well, for my traveling, I'm living on the East Coast, and to travel for radiation 3 times a week, well, 5 times a week, because it was Monday to Friday, no Saturday and Sunday. I had to pay a taxi for $5,000 to travel just coming, but I would usually take a bus, because as soon as you come out from the institute, there is the bus traveling up, bus passing up and on to reach home after I finish. So that was expensive. I wasn't working. After I got sick, I wasn't working. I was at home. And my husband is a pensioner. He's also a heart problem. He has had heart surgery, so he's not working. So it was very expensive. And then I had to pay for the radiation at the Cancer Institute. You don't have anything free there. Every Monday you have to get a blood test, $5,000. For some people it reached $25,000 because depending on what the doctor wants to see. And every Wednesday you have to find $6,000 to see the doctor. Although you already pay a lump sum to do the radiation, you still have to find this additional money to pay at the Cancer Institute.
What was the lump sum like? How much you had to pay for radiation?
I paid $150,000 just to do the
30 sessions.
The 30 session. But I also had to find $11,000 a week for see the doctor and
do the blood test.
Yeah, they don't accept anything from Georgetown Hospital down there. Whether you want to do a CT scan, which they sent me to do, I had to do 3 CT scans. They sent me to do what I tried to do it at the Georgetown Hospital, and they don't accept it. You have to do it there at the Cancer Institute.
And how much that cost?
One of the CT scan was $35,000, but 2 they charged me $89,000. So
would you like to see that change to a system where the tests you don't duplicate it, where you could use the same test once it's for the same whatever test is required? You could use the same results to the various facilities.
Yes, I think that should be changed because I'm doing like 3 clinics. I mean, I'm doing blood tests every time I go to clinic. I got one at surgical clinic, one at medical clinic, and then at oncology. So when I take 1 blood test a week, they should be able to have copies distributed to the other 2 clinics, but then I have to do 3 blood tests every week, and that was very, very painful, and it was depleting me of my blood count as well. So right now I'm anemic because my blood count is very low. I had 2 done last week, so that should be changed so that people could, they could use, because if I do it today, it could work for tomorrow with another clinic.
Once it's the same,
same requirement,
same test that is required.
Same thing, yes.
It's the identical thing, because sometimes they may need the blood test for various reasons. But you're saying once it's for the same reason,
it should be used.
The same test that is required should be used. What's your take on cost and the whole arrangement, treatment protocol?
Well, the treatment protocol, what I must say, right now it's getting a little better at Georgetown Hospital because normally when you got to go, you go back to clinic for checkups. Sometimes they send you now to do a body scan and thing. When you go, you got to pay a costly sum. But right now, when you get a paper, you go upstairs to the office and they will give you like a 10%. Right? I know the last test I had to find out about the cervical cancer, when I had to do a full body scan, the cost was actually $147,000 at Balwan Singh. And the hospital paid for it because I tell them I'm a pensioner, I'm a widow and a cancer survivor, and I'm not working anymore. So I can't afford that big amount of money. So we went up to the office and they signed up and and they said, well, look, take this over to Balwan Singh Hospital. Because most time now, every mammogram or whatever you have to do, now you're going over to Balwan Singh Hospital. I don't know the reason, but Balwan Singh Hospital gets all those things. You go over there with the people, you don't pay and things. So they get a little better because before when you got to find the money, it used to be very costly. I remember one time I went to the Cancer Institute because as she said, Cancer Institute is a different body from the hospital. And one would feel it's the same cancer, they're in the same compound, you get a discount or something, but they're a private entity. So you have to pay the money. Remember one time I had to pay $85,000 for a body scan. And I got up one, I got up here, and got up there, and I was able to pay for that. But since now Georgetown Hospital, they give you people, you got to go to the office, get it signed off, and you're getting it done free.
So things are getting better, at least at the Georgetown Public Hospital.
Yeah, and another thing, mammogram. Well, I've been getting paid for a while in the right side breast, which now I have to do a mammogram every 6 months instead of the year. And I remember you got to go and pay. Or Georgetown Public Hospital, most times the mammogram machine is not working. Most of the time the mammogram machine is not working. So what they does now is that they send you the people. The last I did was 3 months ago, is at Mercy Hospital, the imaging department. You get that done free.
Free?
Take back.
Since
yes, so
the
there's a lot of
machine
improvement.
But there's need
for them to improve on these different machines. And they I really leave that for later because in the treatment that we got as cancer survivors, they need to improve that too.
A lot.
Okay. You wanted to add something.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a social worker with the oncology department that she now it's telling us that if we need assistance, especially with the test that has to be done, and they would go to her and she would try to get like half off and so on.
Percentage reduction.
Yeah, so that's a good option because it would assist people. A lot of people who's not working, who's sick, and maybe that's one of the reasons like people don't come out when they have this cancer. They don't want to let others know because they're scared. They don't have the money to pay. But now they're getting help. We're getting help. The government is assisting. So that's one of the things. And like Rosaline said, a lot of things are being done at Georgetown Hospital that is free. We could go there and get it done freely. Yes, we may still have a small cost in some areas, but it's our life. And as long as we live, we will get some form of help somewhere to assist to do what we have to do. So it's not something that we should keep to ourselves and suffer in pain and all of that, but to come out and get help early.
Okay, so you did the surgeries, you got the treatment, the chemo, and in your case, the tablet. It came at a cost. For some, for you, you paid $3,600. And thankfully, later on, you were able, during the course of that 7 years, able to get free medication from GPHC. You had to stand the cost, and I'm sure you would have probably received a little help here and there from people. We'll definitely talk about the support of family, friends, and even healthcare workers. But you are now free, cancer-free, in breast cancer-free at least. Let's talk about that. The moment you realize that that 7 years is over and you're now free of cancer.
That was a really wonderful and joyous time to know when you went there. Every month you go to clinic and then you put on to 3 months and then you go to 6 months and then wow, a year you feel good to know that, oh, I'm a survivor, I'm in remittance. Right? It was a wonderful feeling to know. Because some people didn't make it, but thank God.
Thank God you did.
I did.
And you also.
Yeah, I felt good because, like I said, mine was the aggressive kind. It was growing rapidly. And I remember my son was sick. The doctor said every minute the white corpus was eating at the red. So he was getting more and more sick. He was diagnosed Tuesday, Friday he was dead. So I felt, well, maybe that was going to happen to me. But after they offered help at the Georgetown Hospital, I grabbed at it because I know this would make me live a little bit more longer. And it made me feel real good after they did all the tests afterwards and they find nothing. I breathe a sigh. I bend down and I praise God and I beg Him. I thank Him first for all the help that He helped me and the guidance He gave me. I ask Him to show me, continue to show me what to do. And like Rosaline said, stick to the diet that the hospital gives you to use. No red meat. Come off all of oils and those things. Come off of it. And all my food tastes healthy and has good taste. I cook for everybody now in the home.
And you're looking good.
They enjoy it because of how I cook. No packet seasoning. No additional except the fresh season. Tomatoes, onion, garlic. Then the fresh stuff, thyme and all of these things. Fresh stuff I use. Ginger, it gives your food lovely taste.
Yes, I love to cook with ginger.
Yeah, so no packet seasoning. Cubes, aji, nothing. Don't use that anymore.
Okay. Tell me about the support that you receive or the lack thereof. Because some people may say, you know what, I didn't get the support. But did you receive the support?
Well, what I must say, I had overwhelming support, especially from my church, from my pastor, right? I remember the first day when I came out of the hospital 2 days after, she didn't bring a bowl of soup that people drink for you. She sent a whole pot because she said, you know, the family. And I would get as regular support, you know, friends would come and they'd bring this to you, you know, the children. So, you know, you had a real good support and it was so overwhelming that we had a good support. I had a good support. I'm still having because right now my eldest son lives with me and I don't make breakfast. He makes breakfast morning. He says, Mom, your breakfast getting cold. Mom, get up and eat your fruits. I know, you know, he encourages and he make this, he does the toast and, you know, healthy because first he say, somebody call me big lady. Big lady, you want to pay hospital bill? Look, this is good for you. This is good for you. And you got to eat your fruits. You know, you tell me, well, look, fruits got to eat 5 minutes after. Everything lays out on the plate and you got to eat. So, I get that good support at least from my children.
As you
my
continue
family.
to receive that support, and even as you were declared cancer-free, breast cancer-free, you no longer have breast cancer. And you said a year ago you suspected you may have cervical cancer as well. You've been diagnosed with that. Um, you know, did you like question God? Because sometimes we question God, like, God, what is this now?
No, I don't question God. You know why? Sometimes God tests your faith to see how much strength of faith, tests how much faith you have in Him. And I am also a school teacher, and I teach my children, and an ardent believer, Why question God? He know what He is doing. Because I remember when, you have these walks and things, I would encourage. And I remember taking the doctor day to my church and encouraging all my fellow ladies to do mammograms. I send them to do free mammograms and send them. And my pastor, she would walk with me. They're Trinidadians, but they're here in Guyana on a missionary thing. And she would come and walk with me until I send her and she discovered that she had cancer.
Wow. So you're a living testimony.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're helping others to get.
I love doing that. I go to
screen
schools,
early
detection shift. I go to schools. There's so much of places you could go that even next week I was supposed to go to 2 schools, but because of my surgery next week I cannot go. But I love doing that. Put it out there, let people know. Early detection saves life. It saved mine and it could save you. You just have to go, because I would say, if you know that you're scared, and if I go place and tell, I say, look, this is my number. You call me, and I can make the time to go with you. Hold your hands and sit there thing. Because I have, want to encourage her just to go out there and get you. Some people, they would, find a lump or thing and they'd be scared. Some would be scared even to tell their mother or a friend or, the husband. They're just sitting there and trying. Some they even go to the little bush thing when it's too late than before. But early detection, you diagnose early when they feel a lump. I encourage people, go get it checked out.
So once you were diagnosed with cervical cancer, you took it upon yourself to say, here what, I am going to get rid of this.
Yes, because when the doctors say, well, look, there's lesions on the cervical, due to cancer, and they want to take out one part, I said, doctor, do a total hysterectomy, take out everything, finish with that. I'll be 67 next month. I have 6 grandchildren. I need to live to see everybody. And I opt for that.
So you're ready for that.
So I'm ready for that because I kneel every day and ask God to give me the strength. And He's a great physician.
Yeah.
So He is giving me that strength. He's going to work in and through the anesthesia, the doctors, the nurse, the attendants. And I suffered hypertension too. And He's going to bring that down. On next Thursday morning, I'll be in theater and out. Thank God. Free.
And we wish you all the best. We'll be praying for you.
Thank you.
And we love your strength. We love your courage.
Yeah.
You
see, with God all things are possible. You only have to believe in God, have faith that God will see you through. Because if you ask God for bread, He wouldn't give you a stone. He gives you what you ask for. So He promised not to leave me nor forsake me. And He promised to see me through to the end.
And He'll definitely see you through to the end.
Amen.
Miss Rosaline, not Miss Rosaline, sorry, Miss Rambarran, tell me about the support you had.
Well, to be honest, like I said before, my husband is a pensioner. I'm now on disability. So I'm now working. So the support I received from friends was overwhelming. And of course, my remaining children, they were very supportive. I have to say my eldest son, he would cook, he would bring soups, he would bring juices for me. He and his wife would make blend up juices, green juices, bring. They would make soup, bring. They're there. My second son would come, he'd bring a lot of coconut water, he would bring fruits and stuff.
That's
like
very
that.
Nice.
My last son, he would be there and he would make breakfast, he would cook lunch, whatever. But he's always there too. So they don't live with me, but they come. They would come.
They show up. And that's important.
I have sisters who also would send little finances for me, and I have a brother-in-law. I remember one time I had to take 2 CT scans at the same time. I hadn't the money, and I was sitting there at the hospital studying, where am I going to get this money from? And there I saw my brother-in-law, who I hadn't seen for over about 25 years.
Wow.
And he was walking in the compound, coming straight to me. And I'm like, would he remember me? But he did. And he just come up to me, hugged me up, and he said, look, I'll bring something for you. I spoke to his daughter, that's my niece. And apparently she told him, and he came to the hospital and he paid for my CT scan that morning.
That was such a kind gesture.
I don't ever forget that. It showed me how God is wonderful.
Yeah. And he showed up just the right time.
Just at the right time.
When you needed that money.
And in addition to that, I've been receiving like from other friends, you know, if I have anything, especially when traveling, so they would assist. They would send a small piece to me, and that's how I do my traveling.
So community is important. Family and friends, even the church and religious organizations, they show up, and that's good. And you two are also part of a group, a support group. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, our group was founded through the Georgian Hospital Oncology Department, and our lecturer is Miss Really Punch, and our souls is called the Beautiful Souls, and we're all beautiful souls.
Definitely, I agree.
We greet each other, we hug each other, we love like sisters. You don't have to be biological, but we are sisters. So our group is, and it's growing. We started with a small amount, it's growing right now. We have about 20 in the group, and everybody be excited. Yes, a lovely group.
What could be done to improve the care and treatment provided to cancer patients and survivors? We know the system, according to you, is improving, at least at the level of the Georgetown Public Hospital. The Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, indicated that at least at 4 regional hospitals you have the mammogram machines set up now, and so persons, say for example in Linden and Berbice and Soddy, would be able now to go right within their districts and get screened. But what more could be done to assist cancer patients and survivors financially, but what more could be done to better the system?
Well, for me, when the president had initiated this cash grant, they had said originally for this disability and persons living with cancer and thing. And I could remember, I have it on my phone screenshot a while ago, when the Minister of Human Service, she said that it's something for life, right? I started getting the disability. But then they say when you reach 65 pension, you no longer have that. But still the cancer is still there, dies is still a disability. Yes, you get a pension. How much is a pension? Right? And now the thing is you have to, it's like if you go in here in jail, you're coming out and they got the parole board query about you and thing. It's a whole querying about you to see. I think
if you
that
should be eligible for the public.
Yes, but I feel that we're cancer survivors. Cancer survivors. We don't go through this thing just only in October when everybody have all those loud marchings from the 1st of October straight to the 31st of October. Everybody wearing pink, and some people are making money off of this thing. They're selling these jerseys at some elaborate prices, hats and thing, just a thing. We are going through cancer 365 days a year. Now when you feel a pain in your tummy or your breast, you feel, Lord, I want this thing come back. Nobody checks with us to know well what's happening. They only need, October, yes, they big us up, breast cancer, February, you got thyroid cancer and thing. And another thing I would say is that I think that we need some more machines, because I have a friend who is going through thyroid. We went from Guyana Cancer Foundation Club, and they're going through thyroid. Now, to access that, we don't have that in Guyana. They have to either go Trinidad or New York. Now, if you don't have that money to go to Trinidad, you don't have family there or family in New York, how would you exist? Right now, I know of one. 2 years now she's been diagnosed, but she hasn't started treatment as yet. Because why? She went to the embassy to go to New York because she has family there to do the treatment. But because I think of her husband, some problem with him and working, or what is having, it fall on her, Peter pay for Paul and Paul pay for all. So she's there now, turned out 3 times from the embassy, not getting a visa to go
she
to the
needs
treatment.
that medical
and
care.
She needs that medical care. She's beginning to get frustrated. Because every time we got to walk or thing, she would talk to this body, but what can they do?
Yeah, to help
We
her.
need a machine here. Yes, we build a new hospital, say a new hospital there.
You gotta get it there.
Channels the money into us, especially the thyroid cancer survivors. We need a machine for that. And we need the mammogram machine, Jordan Hospital, to be always working. Even the CT scan machine, sometimes it goes and comes. We need all of that to be put in place, things to be put in place, so all these things would be working, so that we would have good access to them.
Let's hear from you, Miss Rambarran.
Yeah, it's like Rosaline said, the disability that they're giving us. And when you reach pension, they say you can't have that anymore. We still have it, especially like some people might just now start with cancer, and then they don't give, if you're in stage 1, they don't give you that disability. You got to be stage 3 before they give you disability. We didn't even know that. Is a couple of weeks ago at our club, we learned that from the nurse. That is when you reach stage 3, then is when you're eligible for this disability payout. And I'm like, why? If you have stage 1 and 2, why you can't receive it? You still have cancer. And that shouldn't be. As long as you're diagnosed with cancer, you're a cancer patient. Does it have to have a stage before, or they feel, well, stage 3
You can't
is
work anymore.
yeah, and then you're going into stage 4 and stuff like that. They shouldn't do that.
The
They
fight
should,
starts from
yeah,
the time you were diagnosed with cancer.
diagnosis, and
Yeah.
and during that time, the emotional effects it has on a human being, it's not nice. Now everybody likes to hear they have a sickness that is leading them to death, that is, it's fatal. So it works havoc on people's emotion. Then if they're going to get a help, then they hear they can't get it because they're not in that stage. It's not nice. They need to make correction in these areas so that everybody who is diagnosed can receive some help. I agree there are some people who have money. They're wealthy and their family wealthy. I agree with that. But what about those who don't have? What about those who don't have? And the majority of patients is people who don't have.
And what about, I mean, we spoke about the cost factor as it relates to the treatment, but how is it the cost factor as it relates to the price of food?
Yeah,
And eating healthy.
Fruits is very expensive.
That is it.
Very, very expensive.
You see, that is it, because as what they tell, the thing they tell you to eat.
Yeah.
Now, when you got to drink almond milk, you can't go in the supermarket and buy a little pack of any milk for
No.
$800. Almond milk is $1,500–$1,600. You got to have milk, you got to get fruits pretty expensive. You want everything that you got to use. Channel, expensive, because channel is very good. But the things are very, used to beat to build your blood, beat everything, you know. Because, but with this money where they're saying that, you know, because I
Public
remember
assistance.
the public assistance, because I remember, and I have a screenshot I would see, that she said for life.
How much you getting
It
from the
used to
public
be
assistance?
922. It used to be 19, it's 22. But it's for life. It never said that till you reach pension
Certain
age.
you know, they never said
So,
that.
right? But I feel if they're looking now at stage, they feel when you reach 3 and 4 you're dead. So they got to get plenty money.
Plenty money, exactly.
But when you start with stage 1, you're going a while and God help you, you're going. Why would they want to get money for 9 years?
But it's
And if you get
22
pension.
enough?
But
It's don't be, but
don't be enough.
you're still thankful for it.
You're thankful, yeah, but
You're still
it could do
thankful.
something. At least you go and buy a box of milk and you buy a pound of bananas or a pound of potato. You things very expensive. Tomatoes is $600. Lettuce soon. No cheap now is carrots, the cheapest thing now. But you look at all other greens. A little piece of pumpkin is $600. Sometimes you go in the market and you go home and you get a pencil and paper. Did I collect change? Because the money like it just whoops,
Gone, and you
right?
even got a plastic bag.
So
to
why
put it
hold on
something
it?
hold on.
Cancer is cancer. Whether you're early stage, late stage, latter stage, cancer is cancer. No, they don't know our feelings. We know our feelings. We know what we're going through.
They say use oats milk.
Fish is very
Quick
expensive.
oats. So I would buy the oats and soak it overnight and then blend it to make the milk. So that's how I use it. So I don't really buy almond milk.
Because that's expensive
That's
too.
very expensive. So I use the oats. I would blend the oats and I would use it and make tea with it. I would drink it, just put it in the fridge, drink it cold and stuff like that. Because I said that's healthy. That is for cancer patients. So I use that.
Me, I would try with what we get because people feel you got children. Yes, you have
Yeah.
children. But my children have their children. They have their
true.
school fees. They have
Yeah,
UG
their
fees.
rent and all of
My
that.
eldest son, his son goes to aeronautical school, that's very expensive. And everybody got their own children, the family. You can't depend on your family to help you
all
out.
the time. True.
You need that assistance. Don't beg us up in October. Call us all the time if we give a little shit to
Give
go
us
to
a
some
cup of
supermarket
sugar. Well, not sugar,
and get
because I don't use
even a
it.
box of milk and 2 tin of tuna or something. At least say yes, at least they're helping us.
Do you think corporate Guyana could also do more? I know the October month, everybody wear the pink and we have a lot of marches and so forth, but do you think enough is really done to assist?
Let me answer that. I just say the marches are awareness. It's to let people know that there's so many people have cancer and they're battling it, they're fighting it, and they're out there. But the support that you get is just the walk. And after that, everybody just stays quiet. Everybody go back to their own homes, to their own business, and nobody cares whether I meet you at the walk and you're in need, or let me reach out because I have the resources, let me reach out and help you. No, nobody does that. There might be quite a few fortunate ones who might get help, but not everybody. So that is something, while it's good, and as Rosaline said, it's a form of exercise too for us to help us remember that we got to do exercise. There more is needed to be done. It's not just walks, and they might host some other event where we could just go and sit and listen and we share it. No, that's not good enough. More need to be done to reach out to cancer patients. They need to do that. Those who have the opportunity to do so should do that for cancer patients, because we come from all walks of life. It's not just one section, all walks of life. Cancer is a disease that could hit the richest person can have cancer. But they might have the resources to go to places and get help. But what about the ones who have nothing? Who are struggling day for day? They don't have anybody to turn to, and especially if they don't have the knowledge where to go, who to meet, they suffer. So that is one of the things I think they should be looking. The hospital should send a list to maybe governmental agencies and to let them see who they could reach out to or whatever. You know, so they would check and see, well, okay, let me visit this person or call on this person. Maybe they need a little help in some area and assist. I think that should be done, instead of doing other things like Rosaline said, putting the money and building the hospitals. But if patients don't go to the hospitals, what's the use of having a building? You need things in place to help people to live, to survive. And that's one of the things. Cancer has been around for ages. For ages. They have not found the cure. We're finding they have substitutes. Like for instance, they give us chemo. Chemo is a poison. It poisons the entire body. All your lips, all my lips, my fingers, my toes, everything was black, black, black. Like I said, all my hair fell out. I was bald. But that's not enough. We need assistance in other areas. So the government need to recognize what we go through. And it's not just me, but there's millions of people out there. In other countries, here in Guyana, they say over 51% of Guyanese have cancer. So let me say the 51% pass away. What is the population? So again, the government need to look into things like this and to see how they could render a system. Some might eventually pass, but if they could help the others to survive, help them to keep on living, give them that hope, that encouragement, it would do a lot of great for the people.
Okay. On that note, I know you noticed you said chemo is a poison. I know it's a very radical treatment regimen, but it helps to save lives. And now we know that there are alternatives. So maybe the ministry could tell us more in the future about some of the alternatives to chemo, but not to discourage persons, because we want more and more persons to lead healthy lives and to beat cancer, just like how both of you, would have overcome cancer, breast cancer. And as we wrap up, I would like for you to offer words of encouragement to persons who are listening. Sometimes it may not be breast cancer, maybe it's a cervical cancer or another type of cancer, but they're listening to this program. They're contemplating whether should I utilize the health services, am I going to get the treatment, maybe they're worried about the cost factor, or to just give up. Some people, even before they even ask the first question, they already process so many things in their mind. The mind is a battlefield, and so sometimes they're thinking, what, I'm going to die. But we want them to know that cancer is not a death sentence. Once you detect it early, you could beat cancer. So words of encouragement.
Yes, I'd like to say to our viewers out there all listening around, cancer is not a death sentence. Because when you're diagnosed with cancer, you can get help. There's places you can go to get help. Once you find a lump, and our women take a monthly check. When you get your menstrual period, after a week, you check your breasts, examine yourself. And once you find a lump, go and get it checked out. Don't be scared. People say mammogram hurts. But I mean, they have to press your breast, yes, to feel, and for the imaging machine, get the picture. But not everybody is the same. It's just like a little minute of pain you'll feel, but cancer would be years of pain. So take that minute of pain and go and do women from 40 up a mammogram. Younger women, they can do the ultrasound and know what is going on with their bodies. Because early detection saved my life and it could save your life. So get yourself checked out. Men also, because men do get breast cancer, men have prostate cancer. So get yourself checked out and pray and ask God for health and strength. Live a longer, healthier life. Thank you.
Ms. Rambarran.
Yes, I would like to also to encourage persons to go out and to check themselves, because you don't have to lose all hope. There is help. The government has set up places where now you could go to get that help. Of course, we might get help in one area, but they would direct you where to go to get help in the other area. So ask questions. When you go to the doctor, ask questions so that you can be able to learn what is it you have to do. And follow instructions, because the instructions are very vital to your well-being, your health-wise, so to speak. So all is not lost. Now is the time where we need to get up and go check our health. Our health is very, very important. Cancer is something, it don't give you no symptoms until it's in the last stage. So you got to keep regularly checked in order to find if you have anything that is developing. The earlier you find it, it's better for you. Don't wait until you feel a pain or your breast oozing. No, don't wait until that. Go as soon as you find something that might feel a little bit of lump, as we learn. Go, even if you don't find a lump, go take a mammogram. It's free at Georgetown Hospital. And when you get that done, you'll be able to move on. Happy, peace of mind knowing that all is well with you. But do it early so that you can get the help that you need.
What I need to say before we wrap now, the Ministry of Health is sharing away HPV vaccine. Young women, take that vaccine. That would help. Take that test. The vouchers are $8,000. Access the health centers and other places. Take that voucher. It helps to find if you have cervical cancer. Do a yearly checkup on a pap smear. Don't wait until it's too late. Too late shall be the cry. Get it done early.
And now to you too, to come here and to share your stories, from the time you detected cancer to the treatment to now in remission. It takes courage, and I want to applaud you for coming here on Sources and sharing powerful stories and being very real about the treatment and about the care being provided and what needs to be done to better the system. I applaud you, and I know that you're preparing for surgery next week, and we wish you all the best. We'll definitely keep you in prayers, and we know that you are a woman of God, and God will see you through. And we say, he's the all-powerful, all-healer, So we want to keep you in our prayers, and we wish both of you, I know that you two would have to go and do your weekly checkups and so on, and so we'll definitely also keep you in our prayers. And again, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your story, and I hope by doing so, somebody listening would get up, go get screened, go get the treatment that is required if necessary, and trust in God, trust in the process, seek medical advice, because sometimes we tell ourselves that we know it all and we have the answers, but when you go and you communicate and you network and you seek the professional help, that you definitely do much, much better. And we want to see our Guyanese women living healthy lives. And with that, I want to say, let's do beyond October.
Yes.
I know the October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but let's keep it every every day of the year, every month of the year. Let's remember the survivors, remember those who are still battling, sometimes it's fighting. Sometimes, you know, you see people and you could, how you doing? You know,
that moves
sometimes you don't
way.
have something to give, but you, how you doing? Are you okay?
Call.
You know, pick up the phone. You see somebody in a long time, just pick up the phone, check up on them, check up on your strong friends, because sometimes they are the ones battling. And so with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Sources. I've been your host, Svetlana Marshall, and encouraging you, our young women and even older women, to get scream, seek medical help, do your regular checkups, and take good care of yourself.